Talking about a lot of Eagle issues today, but I want to bring up a Flyer issue as long as we're here. Bill, I need your feedback on this.
Oh, boy.
I need feedback from Flyer fans as well. This John Tortorella situation. A very well-respected hockey great has been ripping him lately, and his name is Chris Pronger.
A little bit, yeah.
Chris Pronger is not a Tortorella fan. Now, I don't know if he ever crossed paths with Tortorella. Did Tortorella ever coach him?
It's interesting. I mean, with the amount of years Pronger was in the league, and let me look. I'm going to try to
There's
look
a
that
lot
up.
of players that think a coach should be a certain way, and he shouldn't be as heavy-handed as this guy, especially in today's day and age.
I don't believe he ever crossed paths with Torts.
Okay, so Tortorella's latest thing is to do what? Who's he benching?
Well, there's a couple of things. So we know he benched Matvei Michkov on Sunday, and then he also benched defenseman Cam York. Now, what made the Cam York benching noteworthy was Cam York came out to the media and essentially said that he didn't know why he was being scratched. And this is a quote from Cam York. If there was communication, then maybe I would understand.
So this guy, here's what Tortorella does. He not going to communicate. It's his way or the highway. So he does what he wants. Now, that's what makes him lose a lot of his teams, because they bail on a guy like that.
Well, and that's where Pronger has his issues, because he comments underneath an article talking about this and saying he did the same thing last year with Sean Couturier. What is the reasoning? If the player is not playing up to par, then explain exactly what he needs to fix to be more effective. Stop using "he needs to be better." That is a cop-out. Now, that's coming from Pronger, who also went on a podcast. He went on the Nasty Knuckles podcast with Derek Settlemeyer and Riley Cote recently, who questioned whether or not free agents may be reluctant to come here because of John Tortorella. So this isn't like fans. This isn't just sports talk radio. I mean, this is a guy, Chris Pronger, who was a captain in this league for a long time, questioning these moves that Tortorella is making. It makes you take a step back and think, is this the right guy for this rebuild?
Okay, now here's my second question to that end. How come the media that covers the Flyers has not gone down that avenue to report?
I know where you're probably going with it. I think a lot of the media may have, drank the Flyers Kool-Aid, right, with regard to what they put out there. But I also think that if people I've spoken to who are connected with the Flyers, I am not, but people who I've spoken to who are connected with the Flyers constantly hear that Tortorella is not going anywhere. Tortorella is going to be this coach for as long as he wants to be the coach. And there was even an article today about how he may move into a management role with this Flyers organization when he doesn't want to coach anymore. So media may be reluctant to question a guy they know is not going anywhere.
And wait.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
You got to be kidding me. The media's job is to anticipate whether he's going to be here in the future and whether you're going to have a relationship with him. Why don't they press up against the guy? It doesn't mean you can't press up against the guy if there are issues. Chris Pronger is opening a door for issues here. Right?
He is.
That is a story. Why are Flyer media personnel so soft when it comes to this organization?
Well, I think it's also because, to give the media a little bit of a break here, when you question, you get an answer like he gave about the Michkov.
Well, you press harder. Then you press harder.
He's not giving anything.
If you are a journalist, you find a way to ask the question. If you have to get into a back and forth with the guy, then you do that. You are serving your master. The people that are trying to get information from you as the conduit from the team to the public. It galls the crap out of me when you don't press up against the coach and he's allowed to say, well, because I did it. I can't stand that.
Well, if you remember, this is going back to last season, I believe. I think Sanfilippo Anthony Sanfilippo.
Yeah, he got into a little tussle.
Right? And then it got to the point
But
where
he reported something that was like that was when he reported about
was it about Gauthier and Kevin Hayes? I think it was about Kevin Hayes.
The Kevin Hayes.
But then what do you get from Tortorella? You get I'm not talking to you. I'm not answering your questions. So I get what you're saying, and you're right. Media should push, but he's not going to respond kindly.
If he doesn't want to answer a question, somebody else has to ask the question in a different form. And you have to make him exposed. He needs to be exposed to his fan base for questions. They're the ones that should get answers. He doesn't coach this team in a vacuum. This fan base has been a very loyal fan base, and they've been conditioned to be soft. And no other team faces that kind of softness in this city. Not one other team. Look at the Sixers. They're getting hammered this year. And they're getting hammered by the press as well. Flyers.
Well, look, you and I have talked about this before. They are in a rebuild. And I know it's felt like they've been in a rebuild for a really long time. But a lot of that was because of what Ron Hextall and, more importantly, Chuck Fletcher did. Mike, I'm telling you, it's the reality.
Stop. It's not the reality. You've had enough time to get the young players and coach them to more wins.
I agree with you on the Morgan Frosts and the Joel Farabee. He never really developed these guys. He didn't like them. They were in his doghouse for whatever reason, and they're out the door. But you need to bring in more talent.
Cam York as well. Well, has he blossomed?
He's had moments. I mean, look, Jamie Drysdale has looked good the last couple of weeks.
You are a typical example of a soft.
No, I
you
think,
are soft on them.
I think there could be somewhere in the middle. I don't love all of the things that John Tortorella does. I don't love the communication with players or lack thereof when it comes to Couturier and Cam York and now benching Matvei Michkov. I don't love it. But at the same time, I don't have crazy expectations that a team that has been devoid of talent under Chuck Fletcher and Ron Hextall, we're going to be competitive.
Bill, let me ask you a question. If you weren't a fan of this franchise, if you weren't a Flyer Dave O'Tay your whole life, if you didn't own tickets to see this, would you be having the same opinion? I want you to divorce yourself from you being personally invested as a fan in this team and look at it objectively and tell me what you would be thinking.
Well, I don't know what you mean by it, because is it acceptable that this team has not been competitive, which feels like the last decade? No, it's not acceptable. But I also don't put all of that on the current people who are calling the shots.
You know why you don't do that? Because they're your favorites.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
It has everything.
Briere's been there for 2 years.
Subconsciously, you love Jonesy and Danny.
But what could they have done in 2 seasons when you didn't have talent? You didn't have a lot of talent to make trades and bring in acquisitions.
No, is this a great league?
What do you mean?
The NHL. Is this a great league talent-wise?
Yeah, there's a ton of talent in the NHL.
Do you think that you could be good enough to get into the playoffs? You think that they
were close last year?
Enough players to get into playoffs? And that makes my point. They were close last year. They're the same mediocrity this year. They've made no progress.
But they've been very open that they're not looking short term.
Unbelievable. You are just unbelievable.
I'm giving Briere and Jones a pass.
Fans are a different breed. I'm telling you right now. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos. It's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.